Welcome back to Connect MKE. I'm your host, Kristen Bry. Being a city whose nickname is literally Brew City, it's hard to imagine anyone coming up with being the first when it comes to brewing beer in our state. But our first guest today is one of the people behind Wisconsin's first and only co-op brewery, New Barons Brewing Cooperative. Our guest today is co-founder and CEO of New Barons Brewing Cooperative, Heidi Dalibor. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. So, what is a co-op? And more specifically, what is a brewing co-op?
A co-op is a business who is owned and controlled by their consumer or their someone that buys their products. So when it comes to the brewery, it's someone that is typically a consumer of our beer that buys a membership, and they get a share of the company. So they can run for the board of directors and actually control how things operate. They can simply get the discounts at the brewery, and that's what a cooperative brewery does.
All right, so because I think I've heard of co-ops being grocery stores or corner markets, and I think I've heard of co-ops in general as far as, especially when we talk about workers' rights and sharing profits. Mm-hmm. And so is that kind of how it works as far as the brewery does well and grows? Is that something that is shared among the member owners?
Yeah, member owners will make, dividends based on their patronage and things of that nature, but ultimately it's not really an investment opportunity. Okay. It's more of a way to get involved in what we're doing.
Got it. And so what was the origin of this? How did you come up with this? And when you think about the blood, sweat, and tears it goes into starting any company, let alone a restaurant or a bar, why this avenue versus taking the profit in the more traditional way?
Yeah, I really have to credit my business partner. He's my co-CEO and also one of the founders. It's really his baby. He grew up in St. Louis, and he grew up in an area where your neighbor fixes your faucet for you, and everyone works together, kind of community. And he started brewing, I think over 15 years ago now, and he had the idea to start a brewery. And he was like, how can I get people to get involved and actually care about it? I can bring them into the business. I know this one piece really well. I'm a brewing genius, but I don't know how to sell the beer. I don't know how to market it. I don't know how to raise capital. I don't know any of that. So he got together a team. There was 5 of us that got together and each had our own unique thing to bring to the table. And we started out that way. And then we launched our membership. Right now we're at 430, but it was a way to galvanize people around something that's awesome, which is beer. It's perfect for Milwaukee. He came here for school. That's how he came up here.
To learn more about brewing?
No. He went to school for engineering. Okay. He's a bioengineer. Yep. And he stuck around, and he had a couple friends, actually one even from St. Louis, who's one of the 5 founders as well, who used to brew with him. And so the idea was to create this community space around his favorite thing, which was beer.
That is wonderful. So 413 member owners.
About 430.
430. Yeah. And so what do I get? Because I said it's $200 to become a member owner. Mm-hmm. And so what does that mean now that I am a member owner?
It really means something different to anyone that signs up. Everyone gets the same kind of perks, the $1 off of every single beer in the Taproom, discounts on merchandise, to-go beer, things of that nature. But then for those that want to get more involved, it looks different for certain people. So if you're a brewer, for instance, you might be involved in our Co-op Milwaukee program, which is where we are trying to help breweries get off the ground. It is kind of a difficult thing to do. It's very expensive, and there aren't a lot of open doorways. We found that out when we were starting, so we started a program to help those people. So if you have a license to brew in the state of Wisconsin, but you don't have your own brick and mortar, we invite you into our space through this program and do a tap room takeover as opposed to a tap takeover. You can bring in your product, we'll sell it for you. You get to make some money, you get to be customer facing, and have access to our entire network and consumer base. If you are someone that has your own business, we've got candle makers, we've got macrame company owners, and we invite them into our space and use it for free to host their own classes to make some money or to expose themselves. People that join it for marketing, we've got newsletters and Facebook pages and things like that. If you're involved in getting on the business side of things, you can run for a board of directors. Right now we operate with 9 board of directors and have a new election every single year. And you get your hands dirty, you can join different committees within that and help kind of really steer the ship along if that's what you're interested in.
That is comprehensive.
It's a lot.
And so what has the reaction been as far as the diversity of members and community and who's been attracted to it and been involved as far as kind of playing out that original mission of creating a community around a brewery?
I think we're learning as we go. I think some of the things we set off on a mission to do are pretty clear cut. For instance, that co-opt Milwaukee aspect where we invite brewers to come in and utilize the space. If we got a program for home brewers, and that is kind of lined up. Other things, we're taking avenues to get more involved with the community. Last year, one of the biggest things we did was come up with this program called Love Milwaukee, working with other brewers, where there were a couple locally that were really involved in this, and we wanted to create a diversity six-pack. And so we did 7 breweries and 6 pieces of the community, partnered with organizations respective to those. So we did a beer in honor of the Black community, Hispanic, Asian, LGBTQ, women, and body wellness. And we partnered them with, we did the LGBT Community Center, MKE Black was one of them, Elevation was another one, the Hispanic Professionals, Greater Milwaukee, and then BU Magazine and Collective Flow. So trying to involve as many brewers as we can and pieces of the community. Beer is not really a diverse industry, and so changing that is slow, but we're trying to take small steps to bring people in our space, but then also to get out in the community and get into their space. So
which is interesting because I think most everyone enjoys beer.
Everyone
So the
enjoys
consumers are diverse, but not necessarily the owner-operator brewers are necessarily always very diverse.
Yeah, absolutely. But even the consumer base, you don't see as diverse of a clientele in a brewery as you would a bar. And we want to try to change that space and make it more welcoming to everyone involved.
Absolutely. So what are some of the common misconceptions about a co-op
I would say
deal with?
Sure. Some of the bigger ones are that you need to work for the co-op to be a part of it. You don't need to work for the co-op. One is that you have to pay like an annual fee. Ours is only $200, and then you're in for the rest of your life. You're stuck with us. Those are probably the 2 biggest ones. I think sometimes also we get confused for as a crowdsourced brewery. So there's breweries out there that take input from the public on what they're brewing or how they're brewing. We don't do that. Our head brewer, John, business partner, he does all the brewing. He comes with all the recipes, with the exception of one, which I can talk about in a second. And we also don't allow people to come on site and brew or anything like that. It's just more the business model of things, not how we operate the actual brewing side of it.
Okay, so what's the story as far as the recipe development?
So we've been working with some home brewers of the brewery. So we've got 6 home brewing teams that have gotten together, and we are creating a Kolsch recipe. It's a Belgian style beer. John's from Belgium. He's very passionate about those styles. And what we did was it's a 4 or 5 piece program. And we had one where we took a class and we taught them what is a Kolsch, how do you brew one, the history of it, anything you can think about. Then we had them go off and actually brew their own version. Then they came back, they got to invite their families and friends, everyone got to critique them. They got a really technical critique from John, and right now they're in the process of redoing that recipe. There'll be 2 more forms, and we'll kind of whittle it down to one big boss recipe, then they'll all brew it together as a team and release it as this first really co-sourced recipe that John didn't come up with.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so are there any other good stories that you've come from members, or basically things that you weren't expecting but have blossomed organically out of having so many different people involved in the brewery?
We've created a lot of great friendships and partnerships with local businesses that either provide food or we do events with them and things of that nature. Some that have nothing to do with beer, but we find a way to work with them. And our beers, so I mentioned before that we don't take direct feedback about our beers or direct inspiration. But what we do is we create stories with our member owners that inspire our beers. So for instance, we did a drive-through double. That was in honor of a beer drive-through that we started in the very beginning of the pandemic. We worked with Falklandia Brewing.
A beer drive-through?
Yes.
This is exactly what it sounds like.
It's exactly what it sounds like. So we ended up working with, I think it was around a dozen different breweries in Milwaukee. We purchased beer from them and sold it for them so that everyone could make money during the pandemic. And it was great. We had, a couple of breweries made thousands of dollars through this, and we worked with Falklandia and Explorium in organizing it, having space, because at the time we were not open yet when we first did it. So we needed a way to make money as well. We were just contract brewing at the time. And so we brewed a beer called the Drive-Through Double, And we had a special for anyone that volunteered when they came to the tap room. They got a special discount on it and things like that. So all the beers on tap have some sort of story attached to them. That's one of my favorite ones.
That's great. So you mentioned events. What are some of the events? I think one of the things I've been impressed every time I've gone there is the creativity you have when it comes to the events that you throw.
Thank you.
So what are some of the things end of May, early June that you have coming up that people could come?
We have one today.
Oh.
So Radix Brewing, we're doing that co-op program. They are an up-and-coming brewery in Milwaukee, so they'll be the taproom takeover, so you can come in and check out their stuff. We have a beer shots and ladder tournament. So we took the children's game, Shoots and Ladders, and we added beer to the board and created a tournament-style game with it. So that's May 21st. And then the next big one is June 3rd. We have Bayview Gallery Night down in our neighborhood in Bayview, and we are utilizing that. We've got a local artist, Big Shot Robot, coming in. We're going to do a community art project, and then we've got live music from 5 to 10 to kind of kick off the summer. So I'm really looking forward to that one.
Hopefully it'll be warm by then.
It will be.
It will be. By June 3rd, it will be
yes.
warm.
Yep, now I'm thinking about the other options.
So what is the big vision from what you've created thus far? 2 years. If you guys were still just contracting.
2016 is when we actually got started,
Okay.
And then we opened up our brick and mortar in 2020.
Okay.
We've kind of taken it as it goes day by day. Ultimately, we want to be a resource to the community, both the brewing community and elsewhere. So what that looks like is being built upon as we speak. We're going to be in the Bayview neighborhood for at least a few more years, and we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. That's a great answer. So as far as where can people find you? Address of New Barons?
Yeah, so we're in the Lincoln Warehouse, which is on First and Beecher in Bayview, big, huge red building. Can't miss us, we're right next to the stoplight there. We do distribution, so you can find us at most local liquor stores, Sendik's, Outpost, Woodman's. We just opened up distribution though to the whole state, so you can find us in the Madison area, Green Bay area, and Milwaukee area is pretty heavy.
All right. What's your favorite beer that you brew?
It's a tie for me. One is Behind, which is our Mexican lager. We brewed it in honor of the service industry. So even if you aren't a part of the co-op, you always get a deal if you're bartender, server, cook, bar back, anything like that. And then our Pecan Porter, which is one of our our winter seasonal
I was going to say, Pecan Porter in the summer sounds
It's one of
heavy.
our winter seasonals, and it is just absolutely delicious. So there's some others. It's like picking your favorite kid. That's what my business partner always says, and it's kind of true.
Do you ever get sick of drinking beer?
No.
All right.
Very rarely.
You want to give the website and the address one more time of where people can find New
Yeah,
Barons?
so 2018 South 1st Street in the corner of 1st and Beecher, and our website is New Barons Brewing Cooperative. We have all the details about our membership there. You can sign up right online or in the tap room.
All right, any social media plugs?
Yep, we have an Instagram. I think it is New Barons Brew, and then we have a Facebook page as well.
Awesome. All right, well, thank you so much for being here. It was very fun to learn more about innovative, new, only first brewing cooperative, and so thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Heidi Dalibor is the co-founder, CEO, and taproom manager of the New Barons Brewing Cooperative. For more information, like she said, you can check out on how to become a member owner or just check out any of the events that Heidi mentioned at newbaronsbrewing.com or find them on social media. This is going to do it for today's show. I'm your host, Kristen Bry. Thank you for watching. And I do hope you'll join us again next week as we discuss the issues and introduce you to people who are making a difference in the city where we live, work, and play. Have a great day.